Welcome to the next edition of the ACRO podcast. My name is Fraser Cobb. I'm the executive director of ACRO, and it's my pleasure to introduce today's host, Dr. Brian Lally from Penn Medicine and a member of the ACRO Board of Chancellors.
Fraser, we've talked about this a lot of times. Just call me Brian, you know? You don't have to call me Dr. Brian Lally, but that's another issue. Today, I'm really excited to be here. We're going to talk about the history of the SEALs, and SEAL stands for Shared Excellence Among Leaders. And before we get too much into it, I want to introduce the two other people I'm really excited to have here today. First is Tracy Gabor with Genesis Care. Tracy, can you tell us about yourself, your background, and what you're doing for Genesis Care, that great organization it is?
Sure. Thank you so much. So I have been with Genesis Care for over 13 years. I've had a multitude of different positions within physician recruitment, physician engagement, operations, overseeing a lot of our radiation oncology clinics, as well as some of our subspecialty clinics, acquisitions and mergers within the organization. And for the last few years, I have been the executive director of our marketing team.
And I forgot to mention, she's also my favorite radiation oncology administrator.
Yes, I was hoping that you would add that in.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Next, we have Jim Sinicki. Jim is the chair of the SEALs program, and he also works for UPMC in Pittsburgh. Jim, how are things in the Berg? What's going on up there? What are you doing?
Thanks, Brian. So everything's going well. I've actually just hit my 25-year mark with the UPMC Hillman Cancer Center. So it's been a wonderful career thus far. I've started actually one of our community centers as a radiation therapist and was there for 14 years, and also became the chief therapist in that particular department. Over the last 11 years, I started to join our leadership team at the Hillman Cancer Center, really focused my efforts on our quality program overall. Really work a ton with our domestic sites, and we have 20 plus locations in Western and Central Pennsylvania, and also a few centers overseas that I engage with in Italy and Ireland.
In case I forget to mention, Jim is my favorite chair of the SEALs program. So what we're going to do today is, talk about the history of the SEALs, as I mentioned. So, Jim, can you tell me what in the world the SEAL is, or what it really represents, and how did we get this concept created or started?
Yeah, so I think I'll probably tackle the second question first, Brian. A few years ago, pre-pandemic, I was approached by a very persuasive radiation oncologist by the name of Dr. Lally, who may or may not be on this call. And it really came to me and asked around the idea of setting up an administrators conference in conjunction with the actual ACRO conference as a whole. And at that point in time, we were probably about a few months away from the conference itself. And I'd never done anything like this before, never set up a conference. And in a moment of weakness, I said yes. Thankfully, we had a few amazing leaders that were able to join that program, including Tracy, certainly, and Christine Bloom, Molly Pat, and Michelle Rosado as well, that really helped us gain some traction on this idea. The idea sort of, came to be more of a leadership conference. From administrators' perspective, that was wonderful. But we also wanted to engage any leader within radiation oncology. And therefore SEAL was born. So SEAL, being shared excellence among leaders, really developed into a program that we felt confident in to really engage, again, not only our leaders that were managers, but also leaders in radiation oncology as a whole. So we really developed a quick program overall, put a lot of nice presenters and so on together. And that's sort of how SEAL was developed.
So, Jim, you said I was persuasive, I guess. That's not an adjective I think I've heard to describe me in the past. I think, part of the idea we had here, as a physician, I'm only as good as the administrators I have around supporting me. And I think that was part of the vision we wanted to put this together. And I did think it was funny when, I approached you, your name showed up on multiple radars at the same time. What was also interesting is that Tracy was also showing up on very similar radars as one of the people to approach about this new type of program. Tracy, give us some thoughts about the first two meetings we have thus far, the topics, how they came together, and any feedback you received from the attendees.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I do think, our first year doing it was a huge success with a lot of challenges I think we had on our end, because the timing was one of them. We did all really come together as a group and just put everything into this program that we possibly could to make it great. And so, is what we've done is brought these leaders together, as Jim mentioned, and really look at what it is that other leaders within radiation oncology can learn from and benefit from, and what best practices we can share with them as a group, and how we really tailored the conferences so far is more interactive and engaging than your typical standing at the podium, lecture. And so that's been extremely beneficial to others, as they have been able to really build those relationships with other leaders in their, in different organizations, but the same, specialties, same line of work, operations team, clinical team, you name it, we've had it, at the SEALS program as participants, which has been absolutely amazing. And really just making it more of that interactive feel. So after, each session is what we've done is really had the tables get together and share their best practices. How would you implement something like this in your practice? What did you learn from this presentation? How can you take this back and really help your organization with it? So we have really engaged with our current volunteers that we have on our team, as well as looked at surveys that we've gotten back from past conferences to really understand what it is that people want to hear about, they want to learn about, and then we're able to take that feedback and bring it into a very successful program where, and really looking at what it is that everybody wants to learn, and that's why they continue to come. Luckily, we have had great participation from Genesis Care. We've averaged about 30 individuals each conference, which has been really great. And the feedback that I get every year is just extremely positive, and how fortunate the individuals feel that they are participating in this program. They do have an opportunity to attend, and they also have that opportunity to engage with others, other organizations, because we all have the same goal, really is providing that better patient experience and outcomes for our patients. And so that's what we bring it all together at the SEALS program.
Yeah, I've really impressed from what I've seen with the SEALs, with physicians, a lot of what we base clinical practices on is papers or abstracts, but with the administrators, it's more best practices, which are shared experience or shared learning experience between everyone. And I've also been impressed with the SEALs where there's some parts of the meetings where we focus on the joint part where, last year we had a session where we had physician leaders, administrator leaders, and also industry leaders all together. Jim, can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on with the SEALs and how it sets it apart from what other organizations may be offering for a meeting?
Yeah, sure, Brian. I do think, those are incredibly important parts of the SEAL program, as well as those joint sessions. Typically, we begin the day joining our physicians in the different organizations as well, and have, different panel discussions or leaders in healthcare that have joined us over the years, which is fantastic. It really sets the stage for us whenever we sort of settle in to our own environment, and when then the leaders then move to a smaller, more like intimate setting, I would say. And I think that's been the unique part that's been very nice for our leaders in the SEAL program. We usually get into a room that has a lot of different round tables where folks are set up to listen to the presenters. But not only that, and like Tracy had mentioned, we also really push people to engage with the other folks within the meeting to talk about their experiences as well. So, it's not just those that are coming to present, but also those folks that are attending. So many times when you go to different conferences, you think about some of the things that you may have done in your own organization and really feel as though maybe you want an opportunity to get up and tell folks about that. Well, in the ACRO SEALs program, you have that opportunity. We have that intimate setting, so it's not that overwhelming where you have to get up in front of a lot of different folks to talk about your experiences. But you have that opportunity to talk with those folks at your table, and then also to share that with the rest of the room during our breakout sessions. So it really ended up being a very nice opportunity for all leaders within different organizations to get together. I think that other component of it too is we really try to engage, like we had mentioned before, all the different leaders. So we have physicists, dosimetrists, administrators, executives, nurses, nurse practitioners, just everyone from a radiation oncology discipline that really can provide their own experience and really add knowledge to any of the topics that we talk about. So it really makes it very exciting and really an opportunity to network with others. Certainly, we also have that opportunity as well, not only in those sessions that we have joint with physicians, but also in some of the different opportunities that we have in the evenings to gain some access and to really network with residents that are coming out of schools or physicians that are looking for maybe a change in their own careers.
Good to hear, Jim. Tracy, what's the 2023 annual meeting program for the SEALs begin to look like?
So we are in the process right now of finalizing the main topics that we do want to talk about. We do have over a handful of confirmed presenters, which is great. We still have plenty of time to recruit some more presenters. So we are always looking for volunteers in different areas such as employee engagement, employee retention, overall operations, really looking at different efficiencies within the clinics as well. Anything out there that you have to share, we would be happy to speak with you further and see if we could get you on the agenda for our next SEALs meeting, which is coming up in March 2023. And we are almost there, which is a little bit insane how quickly this year went. I feel like we say the same thing every year. And although we start planning pretty much after the prior meeting, we feel like we're on a really good track to do that. But we do meet on a regular basis. Currently now we're meeting bi-weekly, really just to firm up that agenda, really confirm speakers and look at, anything else that we do need to bring into this program to really continue making it great and even better every year. This year, which is a little bit different, is that we are offering an opportunity for SEALs to submit a formal abstract through the ACRO annual meeting abstract submission process. So if you have any questions or would like to volunteer for that, please go to the ACRO website and you are welcome to provide an inquiry there or contact the office directly, and they will get you in touch with someone that can assist with that. But again, calling for all volunteers, we would be happy to speak with you further and see if there's a way that we can get you on our agenda.
Are there any formal leadership positions that would be open or available for people to sign up for?
Absolutely. So we are looking for leaders across the country that have, any best practices to share. We would welcome with open arms any volunteers to our committee as well. And, if you have anything or any interest in that as well, please reach out and we'd be happy to speak with you further.
Any other thoughts, Jim?
Yeah, I think exactly that. I mean, this program is very young. Certainly, we started a few years ago and we're sort of interrupted a little bit by the pandemic halfway through, but the program has really gotten very exciting and gained a lot of traction, but that doesn't really continue to grow without the volunteers that we get. Certainly that core group of folks, but many more volunteers that we've had, especially when we start to take a look around membership or what type of opportunities we have to do virtual presentations and so on throughout the year as well. So there's a lot to be done yet. I think the SEAL program is just starting, quite frankly. And while the conference itself is very exciting, there are many more things that we're taking a look at to really help leaders, current leaders and future leaders in radiation oncology. So great times.
So I just want to thank you both for telling us the history of the SEALs. This seems like a really promising program that's going to have impact over the upcoming years. And I just want to thank both of you for your leadership. And once again, you two are my favorite rad onc administrators. And I also want to thank the audience today for listening. I hope to see you at ACRO and the ACRO SEALs meeting in March in Orlando. Other than that, stay safe and take care.